Welcome to Total Health Magazine on Total Health Television. I'm John Barson as we get another year underway, 2018. A lot of us make New Year's resolutions. I think the track record isn't very good, though, on people following through. A lot of people will, pick up a gym membership. They'll want to change their diet. They'll want to do, something to improve the quality of their life, their relationships. Well, today we're going to be talking about something that hopefully you can commit to, and it is a cleanse. It's a total life cleanse, especially in this day and age with the current administration looking for ways to eliminate millions of people from healthcare and Medicaid. I really think it's up to us more than ever to take charge of our own health. And one of the best things you can do for your body is a cleanse, because we're exposed to thousands of chemicals. There's over 30,000 chemicals that have never been tested that are used in products every day. So we're going to talk about this particular cleanse because we've identified it here at Total Health Magazine as actually one of the best overall cleanses, because it's not just about detox. It's also, it's the total body cleanse, heart, mind, and soul. And to talk with us, we have the author of the book, Jonathan Glass. Jonathan is a practitioner in Concord, Massachusetts, and he's joining us today from his home. Jonathan, welcome to Total Health.
Thank you, John. Really happy to be here.
In reading your book, one of the things I really enjoyed was your actual personal journey. Often we have people telling us, what they think we should be doing, whether it's, supplements or advice or whatever. But you don't really know where they came from, other than maybe their degree or something. But I like how you came to the realization over years of how you can actually change your life, make yourself healthier, and you started all the way back in high school.
I did. Yep, I did. I got into meditation and yoga early on. I found that I was a hockey player, I was a soccer player, and I was a normal neurotic kid who was trying to figure things out, but I found that meditation and yoga was extremely helpful, even for things like soccer and hockey. It was amazing. I also had really horrendous allergies growing up as a kid. And I had a very serious allergy to dairy, which I didn't know until I was about 18 years old. And when I stopped eating dairy personally, my whole life changed.
How so?
Well, Basically, I was a soccer player. I was in college, and I was pretty skilled. I actually lived in Scotland when I was a young boy. So that was the first sport I ever learned, was soccer. And I noticed that my endurance on the soccer field wasn't the same as the other kids on the team. Even though I had the skills, I had the aggression, I had the intensity, my lungs just wouldn't hold up. And my soccer coach would tell us to eat pizza and hamburgers the night before the game, and I would feel horrible. And I finally went to the local health food store in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and I met this really cool guy in the health food store. And he gave me a book called Back to Eden, which was this amazing naturopathic book, I think written in the 30s. And I read the book, and one of the first things I discovered was the connection between dairy and allergies. And immediately I gave up eating dairy. And I didn't know how to eat. I was eating iceberg lettuce and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and pretty much that's about it. However, I felt better than I had my entire life without eating all that cheese and dairy and ice cream, things that I had been eating every single day of my life, with horrendous allergies, with taking all kinds of antihistamines, with having allergy shots my entire life. And things really started to change. He also gave me some nutrients that helped with increasing oxygenation. And I felt like a different soccer player. I was out there, I could run, my endurance skyrocketed. And it was just an amazing experience. So I realized early on that diet and nutrition made a huge difference. And then I added yoga and meditation to that. And it was just such a recipe that I really had no clue, but I experienced it for myself, and it really prompted me to go deeper and deeper into those subjects.
I really related to that part of your story because on a personal level, I used to be severely asthmatic. And at one point back in, I say 1999, 2000, Almost monthly, I was in the middle of the night rushed to the hospital for a life-saving asthma treatment. And I couldn't go anywhere. I had an inhaler in every pocket, in my car, at the office, in the house, and I just had them everywhere. I bought them by the box. And I had lunch one day with a naturopathic doctor, and he said, "Well, what are you eating? What are your allergies?" And so we went through this whole thing, and it took a couple of years, but I eventually got off all the inhalers. I haven't had an asthma attack since 2003.
Fantastic.
And by cutting all the gluten out of my diet, I dropped 30 pounds.
Fantastic.
So I really
It's
related to
amazing.
that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but that's one of the things we like to talk about on Total Health in the magazine and on our program here is there's so much that we can do to improve our own standard of health without having to rely on pills.
That's a fact. I mean, when I think of how many people in this country are on medications that simply by changing their diet, they wouldn't have to be on those medications, or they could be significantly reduced. I mean, I have no problem with the right use of medication. That's not, my mission isn't to get everybody off of every single medication, because some of them are life-saving. There's no doubt. There's a saying, you got to fight fire with fire. So sometimes you need something potent that maybe is even toxic to maintain your life. But for the most part,
but at the same time, though, you can, if your doctor is forthright and gives you the information about the actual medication he's giving you that may be life-saving, and then tells you, for example, with statin drugs, well, you should be taking CoQ10 and you should be doing this in your diet, and if you're getting antibacterial or not anti-inflammatories, antibiotics, thank you, one of my pet peeves, that you should be taking probiotics, 4 hours after you take your antibiotics, things like that. I mean, there are so many things doctors could do to save many thousands of lives, even with that life-saving medication.
Very, very true. Absolutely. I mean, it should be an integrated system. If people realized that removing certain foods from their diet, increasing hydration, I mean, how many people would be coming off of allergy medications? How many people would be coming off of their antidepressant medications? I mean, when I was eating a ton of wheat, dairy, and sugar, I would often feel kind of depressed, and when I changed my diet, my mood just lifted so significantly. I feel so much better. I don't, even eat those foods, not just for me, but for my patients, because if I eat that way, no one wants to sit across from a depressed, practitioner, or somebody who's got low mood, low energy, foggy head. All those things just go away when you start eating well and taking care of yourself. So it's really important, and people just really need to know that there's something really going on here. The other thing, the food in America has some big issues. I have many clients, and other practitioners have the same experience. They can go to Italy and they can eat wheat and have no negative experiences, and they come back to America and all their problems come back again. So there's a lot going on here. Well,
there's just so much crap in processed foods. We're exposed to all the chemicals, flame retardants in our furniture, in our clothing, and our mattresses, heavy metals, the heavy metals in vaccines. This year I've been doing a lot of research on vaccines, and wow, it's just, in January, the group in Italy did an independent study. They tested something like 1,200 vaccine batches, and every single one of them was contaminated with heavy metals, and stuff that shouldn't be there, blood, animal stuff. I mean, it was really bad, but not a mention of it in the media. And then when you see things like, all of this research is coming to the fore now on CBD and medicinal marijuana. And then you look at that story that's still, I checked before we went on the air today, I checked NBC, and they still have that story on their homepage, doctors claiming that marijuana killed that baby. And yet the doctor that led the study has come out and said, no, that's not what they said. It's exactly not what they said. So it seems like any negative thing they can latch onto to kill whatever, we like to talk about because of the science and the holistic side of things. That's what they do. So, you know,
Yep.
I don't like to quote Trump and fake news, but boy, when it comes to pharmaceuticals and holistic remedies, there's a lot of fake news.
There's a lot of fake news. Yep. And that's where it comes down to common sense. I mean, so much of this, you don't have to be brilliant. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You don't have to be, knowing the data is really wonderful. Knowing the science and having the science back it all up is wonderful, because some of us really need that. And I like to hear it too. Don't get me wrong. Having said that, it's common sense. What you put in your body, how you take care of your body, how you take care of your mind, how you take care of your spirit, all these things really matter. And again, you don't have to be a genius to figure it out. It's common sense. The body just works better when you remove major stressors from it. And, people are waking up to it. It's taking a while. 20 years ago, this was all a new concept. I mean, cleansing was not prominent in the awareness of the culture of America and throughout the world, where now it's becoming really, really prominent. The problem with it sometimes is that, people are doing these, claiming a 3-day cleanse, and that's going to do everything, and they go back to eating their old ways, where I'm really a proponent of doing a good cleanse, but also creating a new bottom line, a new way of eating for yourself. And it doesn't mean always eating perfectly, but it means having a new bottom line.
Right.
80-20, 80% of the time, 90% of the time, eating really well, eating to feel good.
Well,
every once in a while, go ahead.
What I really like about your clients, your program, is it's a 28-day program, and because it is a fact that it as habit forming, to make something habit forming, whether it's exercise or changing your diet, you really need to do it for about 3 weeks. That seems to be the average. Not everybody, but that seems to be the average. So you need to do something 3 weeks in order for it to become a habit. And with your program stretched out over 28 days, and the fact that you look at so many different aspects of health, you're not just focusing on heavy metals, getting the mercury out of your body. You're looking at the total picture.
Right. And that's why we used to call it the total body cleanse, and we changed the name of the cleanse, the total life cleanse. And from an Ayurvedic perspective, and Ayurveda is a system of medicine from India. For those of you that don't know, Ayur means life and Veda means knowledge. So it's a knowledge of life. It's an extremely comprehensive system of medicine. It's just an amazing system. And it really comes from the perspective is that we are whole beings. We are a body, mind, and spirit. And it's not just to sort of be cute and to acknowledge our spirituality. It's part of the health program. So when we don't acknowledge, or we lack acknowledgement of any part of ourselves, then that minimizes the benefit of any health program that we're on. So that's why with the cleanse, we really emphasize meditation, yoga. We really emphasize different aspects of cleansing. We really emphasize, the mental, emotional components to whatever degree we can implement during the cleanse.
I also like how you talk about the way that you can use the book. I think you have 4 different ways that you can use the book. You can get right in, you can read the whole book, or you could just jump right to the cleanse program and the diet changing things, or any combination thereof. So you make it easier for people to start adopting your program.
Right. And one of the things one of the ways I really imagine it being used, which I'm really excited to use with my first rounds of cleansers in January, is that, with the group, we're going to jump right into the cleanse. And one of the aspects of the cleanse that we have is called the media fast. So the media fast is minimizing or avoiding 100% media. So that means news, television, anything that's not necessary for your life, or your livelihood. Obviously, if you have to check email, then you check email. If you do texting for business or family, whatever. But minimizing it significantly is a very powerful thing. So that also means what is it that we're reading during a cleanse? What kind of movies are we watching? What kind of music are we listening to? So the cleanse book is going to be something that people can really feed their body, mind, spirit, their intelligence, cultivate some real intelligence about their body and mind and spirit during the cleanse process itself. So I'm really looking forward to having the book to offer people to really engage their minds in something during the program also.
Right, so they'll have to take Facebook off their phone, unplug the television. I took
Yeah,
Facebook.
well, it's really minimize it for sure. In Ayurveda, Ayurveda says the cause of all disease starts with digestion. So if we're not digesting our food, but the way Ayurveda sees it too is that, we have to digest anything we take in through our senses, through our mouth.
But
so we have to process all that.
Right. Well, it's important, to chew your food slowly and actually learn to have an appreciation for the food that you're chewing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's very true. Yeah, we talk about that in the book also, conscious eating. And conscious eating can be one of the most powerful things that some people go through during cleanse. We had one woman once, an elderly woman. She was like a bird. She was very energetic, very skinny, frail woman with sort of a ton of energy. And she said that she hadn't sat down to eat in 15 years, literally. She just never sat down to eat. So for her, the biggest part of the cleanse was to sit down and eat. It was this monumental event for her. And a few years, after she did the cleanse at the local health food store, and she was so excited to see me. And she says, ever since I did that cleanse, I sit down every single time I eat. My digestion is so much better than it ever was. So for her, that was the things, just sitting down, because when you're sitting down, you're going to digest your food better. It's just how the body works.
And then go for a walk afterwards.
And go for a 10-minute walk out. Exactly.
That's something it's kind of hard to do, and we're so immobile. They're calling sitting the new smoking. And boy, I got to remind myself all the time to just get up and go for a walk around the block. Just get
Absolutely.
out. Even do it 2 or 3 times a day. I used to ride 100 miles on my bike. Now I just ride 10 to 20. And instead of going out and trying to set aside 2 hours or an hour and a half to go for a long walk, if you do, 3 or 4, 15, 20-minute walks a day, it's just so much better.
Right. We're in the land of Walden Pond and Emerson and Thoreau. I'm in New England, and Emerson was a great quote. He said, "Every walk is a good walk." And I love that quote, because even going out for a 5-minute brisk walk can completely change your feeling, your mood, your energy. You oxygenate yourself, clear your head, and it's a great thing. So I'm recommending everybody, over the holidays or anytime they overeat, anytime anybody overeats, anytime you eat, period, but especially if you eat, one of the best things you can do is go for a 10-minute walk, right after you eat. So anytime you go out, you're at a party or something. There was one Christmas many years ago that I ate a lot of truffles. And my sister-in-law made a lot of truffles. And so I would go for a 10-minute walk after every truffle, and I felt completely fine the next day. I feel fine after eating truffles. So.
Wow, the truffle weight loss plan.
Exactly.
Your next book. You have to follow up with that one. So,
absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about the history of Ayurvedic medicine. And I want to do that because I'm doing an interview with Ross Pelton, the natural pharmacist, and I was researching probiotics. And I discovered that probiotics were actually discovered in the late 1800s by a Russian scientist, and then largely ignored and forgotten because Louis Pasteur came along and everybody was raving about vaccines and everything that he was doing. And it wasn't until the 90s that studies started emerging on the benefits of probiotics. And of course now, a couple of decades later, they're everywhere. But Ayurvedic medicine, it's been around thousands of years.
Thousands of years, yeah. It's amazing. It's an amazing, amazing system Um, it's it's one of those things that's hard to explain. It's a little bit like acupuncture, Chinese medicine, although it's understood by many that Chinese medicine emerged out of acupuncture, sorry, out of Ayurveda. And Ayurveda is the sister to the yoga system. You know, the yoga is the process of, really, yoga is about personal growth. I mean, that's really what yoga is. Hatha yoga is one aspect of yoga, which has to do with the physical body. But there's many aspects of yoga, which, you know, we could do a whole nother section on at some point. But it's really about self-realization. It's about understanding or reawakening or awakening to a deeper connection to your true inner self. And in Ayurveda, they call that the Atma, or the soul, or the self. So Ayurveda is a system of medicine that is aligned with that philosophy. But what's amazing about it is that it's extremely scientific. They were treating diabetes. Ayurveda was the first system of medicine known to use surgery. Very, very sophisticated herbology, very sophisticated dietetics, an amazing system. There's nothing in Ayurveda that I've ever found to be wrong to this day. And I've even questioned, well, Ayurveda likes wheat. Well, the wheat that Ayurveda was talking about was not the wheat, modern wheat in America. Ayurveda likes dairy. Now, you know, like for myself, how on earth could dairy ever be a good thing for someone like me, or maybe even someone like yourself who has had issues with asthma? The milk that Ayurveda was talking about was from cows that had a type of casein called beta casein A2, which is very close to human mother's breast milk. And those cows did not cause allergies to people. In fact, I drank some A2 milk a while back. I drank about 16 ounces of cold A2 milk, something I haven't done in 20 years. And I had absolutely no negative reaction whatsoever. A couple days later, I had a little bite of ice cream of my wife's, and I got congested because I get congested with dairy. So there's a whole science in Ayurveda, which is extremely amazing. It's filled with so much wisdom about the connection between the body, mind, and spirit.
All right, so hang on a
There's
second.
really no whole.
How do
Sure.
we get that milk? That's what I want to know.
How do you get it? Well, you know, there's a company in Europe now called A2, and Whole Foods is starting to sell it in different parts of the country. In New England, it's not there yet, but there is a farm around here called Highland Farm, and they just use Jersey cows, and Jersey cows are typically A2 cows. It's that they typically only have A2, but they're not doing the genetic testing quite yet with all of their cows, but they're only breeding Jersey cows. There's another farm in Ohio who sent me the milk, and I believe it's Snowville Creamery. And this guy there is just amazing. He's so into it. And he sent me sour cream and butter and milk and yogurt. And it was amazing. It was the most amazing dairy I've ever had in my life. I had absolutely no reaction whatsoever, which for me was amazing. And there's a book called The Devil in the Milk, which goes deeply into this whole topic. But it's very, very interesting. And when I discovered that A2 cows are in India and Southern Europe, and many of my patients, or a number of them over the years, have said, you know, I can have milk when I go to Southern France, when I go to these places. They don't seem to have. And I used to think it was, well, it's because raw milk is better, and it is, or milk from cows that are what's called ahimsa cows, which are on dairy farms where the cows will never be slaughtered and they're cared for and they're loved. That milk is going to obviously be of a higher quality because the milk of a cow is a transformation of the blood of the cow, and the blood of the cow will contain all the chemicals, all the feel good or the not feel good chemicals in that cow. So whatever state of being that cow is in, that is the nature of that milk. So obviously drinking milk from happy cows is going to be better for us. But the A2 thing is a reality, and that was the milk that Ayurveda was talking about. So there's a company called A2, and it's going to become more and more popular over the next few years. We'll start seeing A2 milk all over the place. That's what I think.
We've already added the links below this video on Total
Oh,
Health,
great.
so people can follow
Awesome.
those links to learn more about it.
Great. Great, great, great.
Okay,
So,
so how's you've actually put how many people through this program? Ballpark figure, your total
probably
lifetimes.
about 3,000 at this point. 3,000. And the program is unique in this sense, and I think you mentioned that in the beginning. Um, we the program has been based on patients and referrals of patients. So it's not the kind of thing up until now that I've been, promoting through another nutrition company. It's been really, really hands-on, and that's how we've done it. We've always done it hands-on, working with people, helping people through the process, and really seeing what works. So it's not just a cookie cutter program. Degree over the years, the basic program is, I would say, quite similar to what it was back in 1997 when we started, although we've definitely made some changes and adjustments and things like that. But it's really supporting people to go through it. I remember the first couple is where people, I'd get really nervous when they'd say, I don't know if I can do this. This is really hard, or I don't think I can do it. And I used to get nervous when I would hear that from somebody and even think, yeah, this person, boy, their diet is so bad, I can't even imagine them going through it. But now that doesn't bother me anymore. I get excited when I hear someone say that, because I know if they just keep at it for a few more days, then they're going to, something's going to shift, and all of a sudden they're going to start feeling better, and some changes are going to be made. They'll most likely lose a few pounds. We had a guy recently, he was a construction worker, really nice guy, came with his wife, a referral from another client of mine, and he really didn't know what he was getting into. All he knew is that his cholesterol was really, his blood pressure was high, and his triglycerides were off the chart, and he was scared. And so he was very serious about it, and he dove into it. It took a while, but he dove into it. So he's like, it's his new life. He's so excited about it. And it's so easy it's easy in one sense to think, oh, this guy is such a, quote, regular, ordinary guy, never even heard of the word yoga, never even had no idea what meditation even really was, hadn't even considered these things. And now he's getting into it. He's so excited about his new life because he feels so much better. And then he had his blood work done, and it was great. His blood work, his triglycerides were down, everything was down. And for him, it was just so amazing. So those kinds of things happen a lot. And again, it's not rocket science. It's when we take the burden off the body, amazing things happen. The body is extremely intelligent. The body, mind, spirit, I should say, that complex of who we are is extremely intelligent. In Ayurveda, there's even a word for it. It's called buddhi. It comes from the word buddhi, and buddhi means innate intelligence. So we have this innate intelligence, and when we remove the obstacles to the innate intelligence moving through the body, mind, and spirit, then remarkable things happen. And it's just a beautiful thing to again and again over the years.
The body has an amazing ability to repair itself.
Exactly.
We just have to give it the right tools to work with.
Give it the right tools. That's the thing.
Okay,
Give it the right tools and remove the things that are interfering.
Right. Well, I'm glad that we're doing this, because now people can, they have an option for 2018. They can get involved in a program that really works. Do you also offer consulting?
Yes, I offer consulting at a distance. And of course, with technology these days, we have Zoom and we have Skype and we have all kinds of different things. So I do that. And what we're doing also now with the book coming out is with technology, it can really be helpful. So we're going to be doing a Zoom in January. So that means anybody from around the country can actually join in. And that includes a consult with myself. We send them the products, we send them the book. And it's a way of being part of a community. And it really, really helps to be doing it with other people. So it's going to be really exciting. Really excited about the January program.
So that's something we can actually we can promote. Is that something we can link to for people to get more information?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Right now it's on my website. It's Healing Essence Center or TotalCleanse.com. That will take you to the same place. And
Okay.
there, my book is also available, pre-order. It's coming out soon, so you can pre-order right now also.
Okay, great. So unfortunately, it wasn't out in time for for stocking stuffers, but hey, there's always
Right.
this year you can get your
Little
hands on
coupon, gift certificate.
it. So okay, well we're running out of time here. I want to thank you for joining us today and talking about this. I really love I have a hard time saying it. Ayurvedic medicine,
Ayurveda. Yeah.
Ayurveda. I really actually started learning about it through one of my other favorite doctors, Dr. Christine Horner. I mean, here's a woman who had one of the most successful breast cancer surgery clinics in the country, and she walked away from that and became an Ayurvedic practitioner.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Good
and
for her.
is writing books. In fact, her book in I think 1996 or maybe it was 2006, it won Health Book of the Year. So
Wow, that's fantastic.
it's a great discipline, and whatever we can do to help educate people about it and encourage them to learn more about it, we're going to do that.
Absolutely. Thank
And
you.
that
Well, it's been a pleasure to be here.
well, that reminds me though, we're going to have you back because I noticed something on your website, and that was HCG that you use in weight loss. And again, I learn something new every day. One of the main reasons I love doing this is I learn something new. And that is there's a homeopathic version of HCG
Yes.
versus the injectable. And that's the
Correct.
version that you're using and promoting in weight loss programs. So I want to learn all
Right.
about that the next time you're on.
Sounds great.
Okay, so Jonathan,
Fantastic.
thank you again. Jonathan Glass has been
Thank
our
you.
guest on Total Health Magazine here on Total Health Television. And that's it for this program. Jonathan will be back. Look for the links. And I do encourage you to click that little red subscribe button to our channel so you get notices every time we post a new program. Because although we do it weekly, we're publishing programs on an irregular basis as stories come to the fore in the news. So thank you for spending your time with us here on Total Health Television. I'm John Barson. We'll see you again soon.